Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another edition of the Big Brother Happy Hour. My name is Jordan Parhar, and I'm the host of this podcast in which we discuss Big Brother 17 each and every week for RHAPpy with a different Big Brother house guest. This week, I am joined by a lovely lady. She's a fan favorite from Big Brother Canada 2. She is going to shred your mail if you're not too nice to her, so please be kind to her. She's great. She's awesome. I love this woman. It's the great Ika Wong. Ika, thank you so much for joining me today.
And I love you too, Jordan. No problem. Happy to be here.
And yeah, it's just a pleasure to have you, Ika. It's just so weird for me still because I still am such a big fan of this show, and the fact that I have the opportunity to interview somebody who was part of, in my opinion, the greatest moment in the history of Canadian reality television is still blows my mind. So, Ika, thank you so much for being here. For everybody who wants to subscribe to this podcast, if you want to support the show, you can go to RHAPpy.com/RHAPpy. You can hear my other interviews with some of these past house guests, and you can hear all of our future interviews. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube at the Reality TV RHAP-ups page. And thank you to everybody. Before we get going here, I just want to thank everyone who left a review and rating on iTunes for us. If you guys want to keep doing that, that can really help the show grow. We've already been in the new and noteworthy category on iTunes, so thanks to you guys for making that happen. If you leave a review and a rating, I am going to put all the names in a hat at the end of the season, and whoever did so is going to have the opportunity to win a 30-minute Skype call with yours truly, which I don't really think is that great of a prize, but it's all that I can really offer to you. So if you could do that, I will be forever grateful. Thank you very much. Before we get into this, Ika, how are you doing? How's your summer going? How are the kids doing? Just wanted
I'm doing great. Summer's going good. You know, I changed the hair, new hair, you know, this summer. Everything's great. How are things with you? I haven't seen you since Niagara. How's everything?
Things are great. Yeah, things are awesome with me. I've just, well, you know what it's like. It's really weird when you get out of the Big Brother Canada house. You are overwhelmed. All these people want to follow you on social media and this stuff, and they want to talk to you, and people who couldn't care less about you 6 months ago are now like, oh, I'm your best friend, and oh, remember this, and all stuff. And it's really weird. And yeah, just adjusting from being in that house for however long it is and then going back to the real world, it's just really strange. But it's been fun. I've really been trying to enjoy it a lot. And thank you very much for asking. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, no, thank you so much. Okay, guys. So for those of you watching and listening live, you can follow along with this show. It's an interactive show. We're taking your questions by leaving. Scott St. Pierre is monitoring the chat, so if you want to leave a comment on YouTube or if you want to tweet me, I'm at Jordan Parhar using the hashtag RHAPpy. Maybe your question will get read at the end of this show. Should be really fun. Ika, let's get into it. Big Brother 17. Early thoughts. I haven't really talked to you so far about this season. Do you like this season? Do you not like this season? Who you like and who you not liking? What's your take so far?
Okay, so I absolutely love this season. Can I just tell you that I feel like I'm watching Big Brother again. I feel like I just haven't been enjoying the past seasons, but I am absolutely in love with season 17. Robin Cast, girl, good job, because I'm loving it. Earlier on, I loved Jason. I love Devon. I like all the people that's going to give me some drama and give me some excitement in the house. I am not a fan of Shelly and Clay. Sorry, Shelly and Clay fans. I am not a fan of them at all. They irritate me. They drive me crazy. I cannot watch her and him any longer. I don't like it. Yes. But I also like Johnny Mac. So those were my three standouts. So like earlier on in the game.
Okay. We'll get into Shelly and Clay in a little bit. So you said you like the drama, you like who's bringing that this season, and somebody who probably brought the most drama this season was Audrey, and she was evicted last night by a vote of 9-1. If you want to get technical, it was 10-1 because she had a penalty vote for eating while she was a have-not. Ika, what do you think about this whole Audrey skipping the power veto ceremony and her sulking in the have-not room for a few days, and then her getting to eat food when she's supposed to be a have-not? do you have sympathy for somebody like Audrey as somebody who was the victim of a backdoor, or do you feel that Audrey should have sucked it up, she should have gone to the meeting, she should have took it on the chin and just dealt with it like any regular person has? Because really, normally that's what people do. Is someone like yourself, you knew you were going home, and you just dealt with it. You didn't throw a fit or anything like that. So what's your take on that?
You know what it is with Audrey? I really wasn't an Audrey fan, but for the past couple of weeks, I was like, okay, if she stays, at least it will be real raw drama and not people putting on for the cameras, but real and raw drama, which is what I think the show lacks sometimes. I didn't like that she didn't attend the meeting and that she just was, the ceremony, and that she just didn't participate or even try hard at all. But I also feel like, again, she's bringing real, raw feelings, and it's not put on at all. And I do like watching people like that in the house because you rarely ever see it now. Again, not a big fan of Audrey's, but I do like that she was crazy, but at least she was real with it, you know?
Oh, Audrey brought the drama. It was great, Ika. And speaking of bringing the drama, a lot of people from Big Brother Canada to your season of the show have compared Audrey to Sabrina Abate. Now, what do you think about these comparisons, Ika? Do you think that they're just, or do you think that Sabrina is just, no one's ever going to touch that?
I think the thing with, oh my God, this is why I feel like living with Audrey would have been more tolerable than living with Sabrina. I do see the comparisons. I do see it. I just feel like Sabrina really wasn't going anywhere where Audrey was. Like, she was leaving. And Jordan, you really have no idea. That girl, I still get nightmares. That girl drove, she hit every last nerve in my body. I can't even explain it to you. I don't think they're close, but Sabrina is still, she's still far. She was horrible in that house. Good TV, good TV. I would love to watch Sabrina had, without her being on my season. If she was on season 3, I'd love watching her. But because she was in my house on my season, oh God, she was, the reason why I went home. So to this day, I will be bitter. Sorry, Twitter people. Yes, I am still bitter.
Yeah, in preparation for today's podcast, I actually went back and watched the moment when you were out at the hot tub, famously, and Sabrina, I believe, was eating a root beer float, and oh my gosh, if you guys haven't seen that clip, I remember watching that live as I was happening, and I was just, feeds gold, Ika. I was just like, yes, finally somebody is standing up to Sabrina. It was so good, and it was a thrill watching that. So I definitely recommend that if you're watching this or you're listening to this right now, go on YouTube, Google Big Brother Canada Sabrina Ika. It's the first thing that pops up. So funny. I don't know if you.
Oh my God, so crazy.
You probably look at it a little differently because you lived it, Ika. But for me as a fan watching, you made my day watching that. That when I was witnessing it, it was just so good. And also too, if you haven't seen Big Brother Canada too, if you're only a viewer of the U.S. show and you haven't seen any seasons of Big Brother Canada, don't watch my season. I was on season 3. You don't need to see season 3. You don't even need to see season 1. Watch season 2. It is insane, dude. It is so good. You need to check it out. It's amazing. Okay.
Season 3 was pretty good too, guys. Don't listen to him. He's being very humble. Very, very humble. Season 3 was pretty good as well.
But the thing with season 2 that is so great, Ika, is that you guys hated each other, legitimately, and that is something that I don't think we didn't quite have that on our season. And again, kudos to Rob and Cass, excellent job. but you guys just clashed so much, and it was just so great. And on your own, you guys are all great people, but when you throw all of you into a house, oh my goodness, so much fun.
We're all very intense personalities, and I feel like, and again, like, you got that real, raw feeling, and it was barely a put on, you know what I mean? So I think that's, like, when you're watching the feed with Sabrina and myself by the hot tub, it was real and raw, and I swear if I could have pitched her into that hot tub, I really would have. When she drove me crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, another thing, speaking of Sabrina, I want to the Sabrina and Audrey thing. Okay, another thing, Ika. So this was on the live feeds. It didn't make it to the edited television show, but something that Audrey did was she went to Shelly, and she said to Shelly this week, after she was put on the block, she went to Shelly and she said, well, Shelly, just so you know, production told me that you're going to look like this huge villain and you betrayed me and you're going to look awful on TV, just making up all these lies, whatever. And so Shelly was really upset about this, and she was like crying, and she was not happy because nobody wants to hear that America doesn't like you. Yeah. So production actually came over the loudspeaker and said, Audrey, you cannot use production as a strategy. So Audrey stopped doing that. That sort of reminded me, although a little bit different, kind of reminded me of the situation, again, Big Brother Canada 2, when there's a famous scene in which you are walking up the stairs, Sabrina is walking down the stairs, you are trying to get past her, you brush her by like that maybe, like very softly, and then Sabrina goes around telling the entire house that you did this huge like fist bump and hit her and all this stuff. And then production comes over and tells you guys, okay, Sabrina, and can you actually tell us because I've heard this told secondhand many times. Okay. What did production say to you guys during that conversation?
So what actually happened was, it was actually after the hot tub fight that she went to production and told them that I threatened to kill her and her pet, and I was calling her pet Rochelle at the time. Yes. And I didn't threaten to kill anybody, And then she also said that I assaulted her on the stairs. And can I just tell you, when we bumped shoulders, like brushed slightly on the stairs, she said sorry. If you watch that clip, she said sorry to me. So, if she's so sorry, then how did I assault her, right? So production called me to the DR, and they were like, Sabrina has made allegations that I had physically assaulted her and that I have threatened to do her in and kill her and her pet. So they're gonna shut live feeds down, and they're gonna go back, look at the tapes to see if that it actually happened. So they called everybody into the living room, the couch, and they came over and basically called her a liar. They said that it's their incident, nobody was at fault. And that by the hot tub area, yes, I did drag her, but I did not threaten to kill her or her pet, okay? So they called her a liar, and you would think that a house would be like, oh my gosh, and keep me to torment her even more. No, they were like, oh, it's okay, Sabrina, she's still a bitch. It's okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and just watching some of those, again, watch Big Brother Canada 2, guys, if you haven't, or you can watch it, it's so good, and just seeing some of those retells later on what Sabrina was saying. But yeah, just what do you think of this idea? Do you think it's fair game? What do you think about Audrey doing that, using using production as a strategy and then production shutting her down? Do you think that because to me that's kind of a low blow? Do you think that's kind of on the same level as like sort of what Sabrina did, or again, Sabrina's just like way out of everybody else's league?
I feel like what Audrey was doing, even though it was really awful and she shouldn't have done that, she was trying to play the game. She was trying to tell Shelly, listen, if you get me out of here, then people will hate you. Whereas Sabrina wanted people to hate me leaving the house without that. Just didn't have any game. I was already leaving. They're already going to evict me. She wasn't even on the block with me. So, I mean, she just did that out of like sheer evilness. Audrey is really crazy though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, she is crazy.
Yeah, Audrey. I mean, like, what have we ever? And okay, look, keep coming with these Big Brother Canada 2 references, but it's almost as if Audrey, week 1, enters this game. She plays the Paul Jackson game minus her having HOH. Did you not? Am I wrong here?
I feel like for Audrey, and I think, like, I'm not sure, and I don't want to say things that I'm not sure of, but I know that when you're transgender, you're transitioning, you take a lot of medication, right? For your hormone level and stuff like that. And we've never, ever, ever in the history of Big Brother watched any transgender person on television 24/7. And we don't know if maybe, like, the hormones, medication, or she's still taking them, or if whatever it is. And I think people might need to think about that also. That could be a factor in her ups and downs, like, you know, like how girls usually get their ups and downs. She just had like really high highs and really low lows. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so yeah, I have no clue either, Ika, and I think we should preface it with that. It was we don't know. Perhaps it was just the whole situation. And we've both played this game. It's very emotional being in there. It's super difficult. You go in there saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be," and Audrey said this. She went in and said preseason, "Oh, I'm gonna be like Dexter Morgan," and I don't know if you watched the TV show Dexter. Yeah. Ika, but basically like a ruthless sociopath, and she went in there and she realized, oh wait, I actually can't play the game like that. I have real emotions. It's natural. It's going to come out. No matter how hard you try, they're going to come out at some point. So I think maybe it was just that. I don't know, but it's a very tough game. It's like going through psychological warfare, and I understand Audrey having a tough time. However, everybody handles it differently, I guess. That's the way to put it, and I guess Audrey just she didn't handle it the way emotionally that she probably perceived that she would before the game started. And it's a really tough game. You can attest to that, right, Ika? It's a tough game.
110%. It's such a hard game. I do think that she got special treatment, though, and it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, like when she was leaving and they showed that edited part of her family watching, and I was just like, that usually kind of does happen sometimes, but not when someone is leaving and that's like later on in the game. Like, but I felt like they gave her special treatment when they didn't do that for anybody else really in the game. Like, I was just like, what?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that the edit was very, very positive towards Audrey because CBS wanted to. Audrey was she was a focal point of the show because of her strategy and her game and what she was all over the place. But I think early on in the game, before she did all that, CBS had planned on, or perhaps they believed that the whole Audrey being transgender thing was going to be this huge story, and it really wasn't. They tried really, really hard to bring that home and to say, look how brave Audrey is, and kudos to Audrey. Incredibly brave for doing that on national television. I could never do something like that. Very few people could. However, it just wasn't really a part of the show, and CBS kind of just jammed it, like rammed it down our throats and said, look, you gotta look at this part of Audrey and all this stuff, not her game. Look at the story and what she's doing, and it's great what she did. I think a lot of people are going to be inspired by her courage and what she accomplished by being the first ever transgender house guest on Big Brother, and that is not something. It's hard enough to get cast on Big Brother, but to just everything that she's been through, I think it's incredible. But yeah, I don't think that. I think we were just given too much of the, oh look, it's Audrey so positive, ignore all of the her being a have-not and not eating, or eating when she's not supposed to do that, all that kind of stuff. Because let's face it, like you said, she didn't really get fair treatment. It was kind of unfair. And I think that if we were to rewind, if this was a year ago, if we had, or perhaps next year on Big Brother 18, if we have somebody participating in this type of behavior, they're going to get ripped to shreds by Big Brother. They're not. The edit is going to make them look way worse than that, don't you think?
100%. They definitely gave her special treatment, and I feel like people need to understand that we're talking about Audrey, the game player, and not Audrey as a person doing something good for minorities. We're talking about Audrey, the game player, and as a game player, she literally sucked. Like, if you could rag on every single person who sucked in Big Brother, then you should rag on her too. Like, she deserves it. Like, deserves to get fair, equal treatment. We all want equality, right? So then let's treat her equally because she sucked.
Yeah, exactly. She's a woman. She's a grown woman. She signed up to play this game. She's a game player. Everybody puts themselves up to being criticized and being ridiculed regardless of how well or how bad you do. Ika, you and I have gotten the brunt of a lot of hate and stuff like that because of how we played the game. So, yeah, why not, Audrey, get that kind of stuff? So I'm with you for sure, absolutely. One thing that I wanted to ask you, too, about, we'll wrap up this Audrey thing here, is that early on in the game, we have day one, and you mentioned that you're a big Mama Day fan. I love Davon, too. She was awesome. She forms this alliance right away. You see this on the first episode with Shelly and with Audrey. We fast forward 4 weeks later. Shelly sends home both Mama Day and Audrey. So this girls' alliance doesn't really work. As somebody who was part of a girls' alliance that failed, can girls' alliances work on Big Brother, or is this just something that we're never going to see?
The minute that Audrey and Devon and Shelly from the alliance, the minute I saw Shelly with Clay, I'm like, that girl ain't loyal. Like, she is going to do everything that he says, and your alliance will not work. I knew it. Girls' alliance, it can work if there's only two girls. Two girls, and that's it. Like, when we saw Sarah Hanlon and Brittany from your season, there were two girls. It will work then. Two girls, and there can't be a showmance attached. I think it could work.
You think that this showmance, it's got to be two, got to be really small, and the show. That's. But hey, I'm honestly, yeah. I think you look at alliances in general, Ika. The ones that we remember, the Chilltowns of the world, the Renegades, the whatever it is, Emmett and Jillian, stuff like that. It's two people. It's not these huge alliances. So I'm with you. I think that the problem is just when you form a big alliance early on, it's really, really tough for it to go the distance. And I think that the Sarah Hanlon, Brittany Blair alliance, that's the fembots, that's something you don't really see every day. With your alliance, and remind me, you guys, it was a pretty big girl alliance, no? And it was because Sarah Miller was in your alliance and she was loyal to the first five instead of you guys? Is that what the problem was?
So we had Sarah, we had Sabrina. It was myself, Rochelle, and Netta. It was five of us. And can I just tell you, the only reason why I went into that alliance, a part of it, is because I was on the block the very first week with Nick. And I knew that Sabrina was very instrumental in me staying in that house the very first week. So I had to go to the girls and say, listen, let's get her out of here because she'll join the guys and she'll turn on us. So staying with them was very instrumental for me staying the very first week, so I felt like I kind of had to stay with them. Sarah and Sabrina were with the first five. So they were like rats, moles, in our alliance. So everything that we did, they would run back and tell Kenny and Andrew, like what we're doing. So it was doomed from the moment it started. It was just over.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I just wasn't quite sure. I couldn't remember the exact people in the alliance, but again, yeah, there you go. If it was only three, if it was you, Rochelle, and Netta, who knows? Maybe that would have worked, although Rochelle was very close to Sabrina, but that's another conversation for another day. You talked about Shelly. You said you don't really like Shelly. Do you think so? I want to. Fine if you don't like Shelly, Ika, but you got to admit she's playing a pretty good game right now. Do you think that she has what it takes to go the distance, or am I an idiot? Is she going to go home pretty soon?
No, I think Shelly could go pretty far in the game. I don't dislike her because I think she'll go early. I just don't like the girl. But I do think...
And why don't you like her, Ika?
You know what, Shelly, because, okay, this is the thing. When I like somebody in the BB house, I stick to those people, and anybody that's against those people, I just hate them. I'm like black or white. I'm just either or, right? And the moment that Shelly turned on Davon, and the moment that I saw her crawling up on Clay, and and I love Jason, Davon was with Jason, the moment that happened, she was just on my bad list. She was just on the never coming back on Ika's good list ever again list. She was just on that list, and she was just not gonna make it back over. I just don't like her, and I don't like people who are in the game and think they're like running the show, and she's not an underdog, and I usually like underdog players as well. She just literally irks me. Her and Clay. I don't like any of them as game players.
All right. Yeah, I was curious because yeah, a lot of people for whatever reason, if you look at on Joker's updates, they do the popularity poll each week, and for whatever reason, Shelly and Clay are really far down on there, and I don't understand why, but I guess the reason being is that they are really doing very well at the game. They're not underdogs, and people like to see underdogs succeed. So perhaps that's what the issue is there. Or maybe everybody just is a huge Dave Vaughn fan like you, Ika, and they're just like, no, I don't like them anymore. I'm done. I don't like them. Which, hey, it's possible.
You know what it is? I just don't like Clay as well. I don't like his approach. I think he's too sensitive. Like, why are you even arguing with a girl? Like, just go have a seat and just don't get up. Sit down and don't move. Don't address. Like, I just feel like he just gets so worked up and he's just so in the mix and he's just so in everything. And I don't take to him very well. And he has a sense of entitlement in the house. I could just tell because I know those ones. And I just don't particularly, I just don't care for him. And, I mean, Shelly is with him, so I don't care for her even more because of that.
Right. Do you think that even though they weren't a showmance, do you think that Shelly and Clay, at this point of the game, we're 4 weeks in, do you think that they're similar in the sense that they're a power couple to Kenny and Sarah from your season?
I do think they're yeah, they are, for sure. I think Shelly and Clay are like the biggest power duo. I mean, aside from Austin and Vanessa, and there will be fracture there because of the whole Liz situation. But Shelly will stay loyal to Clay first, and Clay will stay loyal to her first. So they're a big power couple. They're really big.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that if you're in, so this week we had Jackie win HOH. Julie Chen was ripping her for being a floater a few times. However, she's finally won something, and good on Jackie for doing that. She's one of the HOHs. Vanessa's one of the HOHs. If you're Jackie, if you're in her position right now, you're not in a major alliance with, at least going into this week, with this power duo of a Clay and a Shelly or a Vanessa and an Austin. If it was you, Ika, would you take a shot at them? Would you take a shot at the Kenny and the Sarah or the Andrew Gordon and Sabrina?
I think what I would do in that situation is, because their situation is the battle of the block, if Jackie goes after, say, Clay and Shelly right now, she's showing her cards. I think her best option is to put two people up, maybe who she doesn't want to go, and then if she's still HOH, then backdoor one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the move with the battle of the block is we've seen this time and time again. It's just backdooring week after week, and we saw it with Jace, we saw it with Audrey, we saw it with Jeff. It keeps happening, and we saw it last season with Devin. It's just part of the battle of the block thing. And yeah, I agree with you. If you show your cards too early, those people win battle of the block. You're not HOH anymore, and guess what? Those two people that you nominated, they're safe for the week, and they're both really pissed at you. So exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. You mentioned you like Jason as well. What do you think about Jason's game? Do you think that he has this? Because right now, it wasn't really looking so great for Jason. Dave Vaughn goes home. He gets nominated back-to-back weeks. He's nominated again last week. And he got saved with the power veto, which is good, but right now he's kind of on his own a little bit. He's got some relationships. He's got some friends. But the way I look at him is this, as if he's kind of in Adele's position after you left on your season of Big Brother Canada too. Do you think that Jason has Adele potential in him? Do you think he could go to deep in this game, or do you think that he's somebody that's going to be picked off pretty quickly here?
I think it could go either way. I feel like if somebody who's not in that big alliance wins HOH or the BOV or whatever, then I think he'll be okay. But he is someone that's expendable in the house, unfortunately, which isn't good for him. And I feel like with Adele, after I left, he had like a group of people who were willing to protect him for numbers and to get further into the game. And I'm not quite sure if Jason has that right now.
Okay, okay. Well, and we'll get into that in the live feeds actually in a bit here. One last question before we get into those live feeds is we just wrapped up 90s week, Ika, the 90s takeover in the Big Brother house, and this week we didn't get a takeover. So what do you think about this takeover twist, Ika? Is it yay or nay? Is it bye, Felicia, or what's the deal?
It's bye, girl, bye. You know what it is? I mean, they can't have a twist every single week. It's just, I mean, they said it was a twist takeover, but I mean, like, they can't have one every single week. And I feel like with the Battle of the Block, which I'm not a fan of, actually, I'm just not a fan of Battle of the Block, and with Audrey probably going home and throwing her tantrum, and, you know, that was a twist in itself right there. And I feel like it would just be too much to throw something else in to all that drama.
Okay, so yeah, I'm with you too. I agree. That's probably what their mindset was thinking, because you think about that show, they had to fit in the Audrey interview after she was evicted. They had to fit in the James giving her an omelet. They had to fit in her family, the Battle of the Block, all that stuff. So perhaps that's what happened, and maybe we'll see something else. But maybe they're just going to take a week off. Who knows? Yeah, I was just a little bit intrigued by that. The fact that, hey, we have this huge twist. Julie Chen says at the beginning of the season, it's the BB takeover. It's going to be the twistiest season ever. And we're in week 5, and there's already nothing. So stay tuned for that, I guess. Yeah, I'm with you. No. Okay. Live feeds. Let's get into it. So if you do not want to hear who has been nominated for eviction this week, you can tune out now. You can rejoin us after the Sunday show. We're going to be talking about who is going to be playing in the Battle of the Block competition, but we're not going to be talking about who won. So I don't know. We're not really going to be spoiling that much. So if you want to check out now, fair enough. That's fine. You can check out Rob Cesternino's recap on Sunday with Jocasta from Big Brother 16. That's going to be really good. So make sure you check that out and check out this show afterwards as well. Okay. Live feeds, Ika, Jackie and Vanessa are your HOHs. Jackie, have you heard anything about the live feeds yet?
I have not, but I'm about to.
Okay, here we go. So this is good. So I'm going to be breaking news for you, Ika. Okay. So Jackie has nominated Liz and James for eviction. Okay. Vanessa has nominated Clay and Becky for eviction. So at first glance, you're probably thinking, well, what the hell is up with these nominations? Well, the entire house right now is on board to backdoor Austin. Austin is the main target this week. Clay has volunteered to go on the block, and we know how that turns out, Ika.
Yeah.
And James has agreed to throw the Battle of the Block. So it looks like what's going to happen here is that if everything goes according to plan, and who knows, it could be some crapshoot competition like the Gronk Pong, and James isn't able to really throw it, and Clay and Becky end up on the block still. It looks like, though, Clay and Becky are going to win this one. Vanessa is going to be dethroned. Jackie is going to be your HOH. So we're going to have Liz and James on the block, and everybody is going to try to backdoor Austin. And the reason for this is that what happened was Austin, he went around a few days ago, he told Jason that he told Jason about the twins, and he told Jason that one of the twins' names is Julia because he wanted to gain some favor with Jason. Well, what Jason did was he went and told Meg, he went and told James, he told he told Shelly and Vanessa, and Shelly told Clay. So all of them think that Austin is really untrustworthy right now, and they want to go after him in this game. It has also leaked that you saw, I'm sure, on the live show last night that Austin voted the opposite way. He did that because he wanted to frame Steve as America's player. Well, Julia told that to Vanessa, so now Vanessa just doesn't trust Austin at all. Ika, what do you think about this? Austin's the target. Do you think that is the right move this week, or do you think that now that Audrey's gone, if Austin needs to stick around because he's a big target and other people are going to be forgotten about because of him remaining in the house?
I'm also not an Austin fan, so he could go. Like I could care less, if he stays. And That's very interesting. That's interesting that, wow. Austin, like, he is team too much, okay? He is doing the absolute most. He was safe. He was in a good alliance. He just had no right to even say anything. He was in a really good spot. So, yeah, he needs to go. He has to go. Bye, Austin.
And another thing he did too was he actually told Jason that he'd be willing to cut Julia in a few weeks once the twins both re-enter the game, so that way he can have some one-on-one time with Liz. What do you think about this whole showmance thing that Austin is trying to force here? Ika, do you clearly you're not the biggest fan of Austin, but like what the hell is up with this? And then also too, he's in the diary room at one point. He said, "I need to fill the emptiness in my heart," and he has a girlfriend at home. Like,
Oh, he does.
yeah, he has a girlfriend at home. So what's happening here? Has Austin? Why would somebody? It's right now. It seems like he's tanking his own game for Liz. I want to hear what do you think about this, Ika? Have we ever seen someone do this, like tank their game so poorly just over love? Other than myself, I guess.
No, you were different. Jordan, I told you, Austin is doing the absolute most. He is team too much. He is the very definition of team too much. I feel like, but this is my thing with Devon leaving, Audrey leaving, Jeff leaving, Austin leaving. They're getting out all the people that are giving me life right now, like that are giving me some kind of entertainment right now in the house. And who are they going to leave me with? I mean, Jason will always give me life, but who am I going to have? They can't just get rid of all the entertaining people and leave me with Shelly and Clay. Like, they can't just do that. I'm sorry. Like, how dare you? Oh my.
Well, we have Johnny Mac. Johnny Mac's there, so he's there, and we got James, and I think that there's some of the I don't know if you're a James fan, but I think he's at least entertaining somewhat in the diary room. So I'm with you, though. I think that there is a little bit of a risk here. If Austin does go home this week, we could run into a scenario in which it's like Big Brother 16, in which the start was excellent. It was phenomenal. It was great. We had Devin going crazy. We had Beast Mode Cowboy and Amber and that whole situation, and then everything kind of went crashing down, and it wasn't the greatest season to watch. I don't know how you feel about that season, but that's kind of how I feel. Bunch of great people, I love them, but not the most entertaining season. So hopefully that doesn't really happen here. Another news point that we should probably touch upon as well is that there's a new alliance that is formed, actually, Ika, and it consists of 8 people. Can you believe it? 8 people, Ika. It's called Dark Moon, and it consists of Clay, Shelly, Vanessa, Jackie, Becky, James, Jason, and Meg. Now, Ika, we touched up on this a little bit earlier. 8 people. Do you think this alliance is going to make it through the week?
Absolutely not. Okay, it is not going to work. But do you see, why is Shelly and Clay in every single alliance? Like,
because they're good, Ika. I mean, the fact that, as much as, a lot of people aren't, woo, we love Clay and Shelly, they are doing a really, really good job. And for whatever reason, they are always included in every single alliance and conversation. And it's a testament to how good of a game that they are playing right now, because nobody really wants to go after them. They're all scared, and it would be interesting to see. I personally, as much as I am a fan of the game that Clay is playing right now, I would like to see by some miracle James and Liz win the Battle of the Block, so that way Clay stays up on the block and we see him remain on the block after the power veto, because I would like to see if the house would have the balls to go after those guys. And right now, I don't think they would. It's something that would be interesting to see play out. How do you, and Ika, here's a question for you. If you're in a scenario when you're in the house and there are 2 people who everybody is just like bowing down to, and everybody wants to be in an alliance with them, and you recognize that, I'm sure someone like a Jason can see how powerful Clay and Shelly have become. What do you do to break that up? Like, do you just need to just take a straight shot at them, draw a line in the sand, get some blood on your hands. What would you suggest to do? Is there anything that can be done for these people that aren't really the Megs, the Jameses, the Jasons of the world for them to do? What should they do?
I feel like I know exactly what she means. I remember when I won HOH during on my season, the house was like people I know that Canada wanted me to put up Kenny and Andrew, and my problem with that was that it was week 3, and I feel like had I done that, I would show my cards way too early, and I'd be the very next big target going out the following week. So I do get that people feel a little bit scared going after players like that when it's a little bit too early. But if you do have, like, when I did win the veto, and this was not aired, I actually wanted to backdoor Kenny, and the girls said no. Yep.
Really?
And that didn't make, yep. And that didn't make air. But I wanted to backdoor Kenny. They told me no. Sabrina the snitch went back and told Kenny that I wanted to backdoor him, and that's why the following week they came after me so hard. So that's what happened on my HOH. So
wow, breaking news on the Big Brother Happy Hour. Ika was going to backdoor Kenny in week 3. Wow, okay. And that makes a lot of sense, because I was going to say to you, well, if you look at the Jasons and the Megs of the world, if they don't, or a Jackie, if they don't take a shot at Clay or Shelly now, they're going to take a shot. You want to go after them before they go after you. And what happened to you, I was going to say, well, what happened to you was you kind of just got screwed. But that makes sense that the information that you wanted to backdoor Kenny got leaked to him, and then that's why they were so gung-ho on going after you, despite the fact that you didn't take that shot when you could have. Wow, that's very, very interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
wow,
that's what happened
news.
On my season, and I feel like if you have support, if you have a group of people like, you know, that we'll call them the have-nots, the Jasons, the Megs, and, you know, the have-nots. If you have a group of people that will back you to do that, then do it, like, but not on your HOH, you know, like, push them to do it, because I feel like in my situation, they flat out told me, no, it's not a good idea. I didn't have the support to do something. If you don't have it, then you can't do it. So in that situation, if they have the support to do it, make Shelly and Clay into the bad people. Like, you could do it in that house. As soon as you start saying, oh, look at Shelly. Look at how comfortable she's feeling in this house. Look at her over there sitting down with Clay. Like, you could get things going that way, and people will start to realize, and, you know, and you could light some fire that way. But it's not safe to do it on your HOH. Always on somebody else's.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, and that's a very good point, Ika. The planting of the seeds, saying, "Oh yeah, you see Clay over there. He's real. Oh, look at Steve. He just sits in rooms all day and is like doesn't do anything. That guy's up to something." That is what you have to do, and that because if you yourself take the shot, it's tough because you're public enemy number 1 as soon as that side wins power again. And really, ideally, I think the best move I think for these have-nots would be, like I mentioned, for James to not throw this Battle of the Block, to win it, for him and Liz to win, and then to send Clay home on Vanessa's HOH, a la myself going home on Zach's HOH on Big Brother Canada 3. I think that, because then you don't get really any blood on your hands. It's the fault of the person, the HOH, doing it for putting their friend on the block. So I hope for Clay's sake it works out, but would be fun to. It would be good TV to watch that. And Ika, you like good TV, right?
I absolutely love good TV. But can I tell you? I'll tell you this. When you were on the block in your season, and Zach would not, like, he would not take you off, I was absolutely livid. Like, livid. I mean, like, and that's what Big Brother does. It brings out all these emotions inside me. But I was so mad that I was like, if I was dying of thirst and Zach offered me a glass of water, I would still tell him no. Like, I was so mad. I was so mad that he wouldn't take you off the block. And I was just like, I was so mad.
Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. It's so funny. Poor Zach. Poor Zach Olinick. Poor bastard.
Zach. Poor you.
Yeah, but poor Zach when he's out when he's in Thornhill, Ontario, and he's walking around and he's dying of thirst, and he sees you drinking lots of water, he's gonna die because you're not gonna give him any water.
No water. Like I wouldn't. I was just so. I remember being just so angry. And my son, he really liked you, and he also really liked Johnny, and he has not forgiven Kevin or Zach.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Tell your son that you can forgive Zach, at least on my sake. Maybe talk to Johnny about the whole Kevin thing. That's a different situation. No, Kevin and Johnny are fine now too, but that's hilarious. I love it. But again, like you mentioned, that's why Big Brother is such a great show, because it brings these emotions out in you, whether you are a mom or a kid. It's really you're gonna have these emotions, and that's why we're still watching this show 17 seasons later, and it's great, and we love it. Okay, Ika, Battle of the Block, you mentioned you don't like it. There was talk on the feeds that they wanted to draw for nomination or nominees this week, similar to Donnie Thompson drawing the Skittles last year and going on the block as a result of that. Battle of the Block, I think we can agree, not the greatest twist of all time. When do you think this thing's going to end, and when should it end?
Do you mean for this season or
for this season? For this season, yeah. What week do you think it's? When do you think Julie Chen's going to come over the TV screen and say, "House guests, I'm going to announce a twist, but first, Battle of the Block is over." What do you like? When do you think that is going to happen?
I am hoping when Julia comes into the house. Like, I'm just tired of the bat. I just not a fan of it at all. But it does give you a sense of who's working together. I mean, the same people keep going on the block. I mean, with the exception of this week. But they keep going. It lets you know who's with who and who needs to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something that doesn't really get talked about a lot, Ike, and that's a great point, is that really with Battle of the Block, the people that get nominated over and over again, those people should band together because they know they're on the bottom, because nobody is really getting upset over the fact that those same people are going up over and over and over again, and those people need to know that the people not going up clearly are working together in some capacity, and that's something I think you don't always see. That in a season where there isn't a Battle of the Block, that's not as obvious. You see a first five form, and you see them working, pairs of them working together. You don't necessarily know all of them working together, although eventually it happens. Or the Brigade in Big Brother 12, that's another example of an alliance in which people didn't really catch on to that. So, yeah, you would think that people would catch on, but they don't. I'm with you, though. I hope that when Julia enters the house at the end of this week, which likely seems to be the scenario, it's over. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know, because Big Brother just really loves this Battle of the Block twist for whatever reason. What do you think about Julia and Liz, the twins, so far, Ika? Do you think that they should go after them this week? Do you think that's the smart move, to just get rid of them, and that way you get rid of two people and you don't need to worry about them anymore? Or do you think that it's smart to keep them in the game and potentially use them as a number on your side?
The Julia and Liz thing, when they found out that, when some people found out that she was a twin, it did not go I thought it was going to go. I'm surprised that she is still in the house. If I had a twin, I'd be gone.
Ika, if you had a twin, oh my goodness. I would be in heaven. If this would be heaven on this planet that we live on, if you had a twin. Could you imagine if we had two Ikas and we had both of you on Big Brother? Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. No, I'm so serious. I don't get how they're still there. I do like their DRs. They're so funny in the DRs together. They're just ditzy and cute, and just, I like their interaction a lot in the DR. I'm not a fan of their alliance, but I feel like maybe once they're in the house together, maybe it'll be a little bit different. We might see them butting heads a little bit more while they're in the house, stuff like that. But I do like their interaction in the DRs and stuff. I do like Liz and Julia a little bit.
A little bit, a little bit. Yeah, no, their DRs are good. I'm with you. The DRs are good. When they're in there together, it's really funny. And they're like, oh my god, you said that? And they like just, it's great. It's great. I'm not going to be a dumb blonde if you want me to do that, because that's not what I'm going to do.
You sound just like them. Exactly. That is exactly what they sound like. I love their DR.
They're great, Ika. Not as good as yours, but they're good. They're very good. Okay, let's get into some questions. So if you guys want to ask Ika or myself a question, you can do so by leaving a comment on this YouTube video, or you can tweet us again using the hashtag RHAP. We have Scott St. Pierre monitoring the chat on robhasawebsite.com, so thank you very much, Scott, for doing so. Tony1996 asks, would Ika shred Shelly's HOH letter from her dog? What did you think about that, Ika? What did you think about the HOH letter from the dog?
I gave it a big eye roll. Like, yeah, that's what I thought of it. I was like, girl, bye. Bye with your letter, okay? And yes, I would shred that damn letter. I'll shred it.
Oh, so good. I don't think we've ever seen that, a letter from a dog. That is just like, what? I just could not believe that. That kind of blew my mind a little bit there. But hey, I guess whatever suits Shelly's fancy. Emily M says, Ika, least fave, most fave player of this season, including evicted house guests, and why? Who are those people and why? I think we touched on that a little bit, Ika.
Yeah.
So why? Who? So Mama Day, your favorite of the season?
I would say Jason and Devon were my favorite.
Jason and Devon.
I really did enjoy watching Devon's DR. Oh my gosh, she was gold in that DR. And I feel like had she gone a little bit further, her interaction with Jason would be so funny. It'd be one of the best alliances. So fun because they're both so sassy. I love it. Jason. I love Jason. I mean, he loves me, so of course I'm gonna love him.
Ika, yeah, did you? So for those of you who didn't see, Jason actually gave Ika and Netta a shout out on the live feeds. Although he called you, I believe, Ika Kalantar, and he called Netta Wong. So he's got Jason. You got to work on your names a little bit, my friend. But yeah, what Isn't that so cool when you get a shout out from somebody on the season?
Oh my gosh, it's like, oh my god, like people actually know who I am. Like they actually know. Like it's so cool. And I love again, I'm that person that all my favorites tend to leave very early because I do love those sassy, drama-filled people. And I love watching Jason. He's so funny. He's so sassy, and he just keeps me laughing all the time. I hope he goes really far in the game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I've got faith in him now, especially with this situation, with this alliance. I think that he's got some safety, at least for this week, and then maybe as soon as Austin goes home, people start going to war. But I don't really think, if you're going to go after somebody, is Jason really the person you want to go after? Exactly. I don't think so, right, Ika? No, he's a small little guy.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, leave him alone. He's a nice guy. Keep him in the house. Let him keep giving former house guests shout-outs, and everybody will leave happy. He even gave me a shout-out on the feeds.
Did he really?
Yeah. He was saying
so nice.
Yes. Yeah, he's such a nice guy. The fact that if you're calling me out on the live feeds, my goodness, wow, you are a big fan of Big Brother if you are giving me shout-outs on live feeds, seriously, or you have very strange taste if you like me for some reason. Okay.
Wait. I don't think you realize that you were a fan favorite, people loved you, and the whole Zach thing happened, but. Before that Zach thing happened, you played a flawless game. You did the dues of Big Brother. It just shows you that Big Brother is based on luck sometimes. Because you were in an alliance with one guy that you're supposed to do that, not a big alliance. Be loyal, to do that. And you thought he'd have your back as well. Your only downfall was trusting somebody that wasn't trustworthy in the house, pretty much. But you played a pretty good game.
Thank
can you
you.
tell that you played a pretty good game?
I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you. Actually, that does seriously. I appreciate the kind words. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, it was my fault. We don't need. This is not a Big Brother Canada 3 podcast. We don't need to talk about my game. But thank you. That does really mean a lot. Super Factor says, Ika, which letter would you shred first and last from the BB17 house guest? Now, Ika, first off, how many questions have you gotten about letters since being out of the Big Brother Canada house?
Oh my God, so much. So many questions about letters. And you would think I was working at the post office with all these questions about letters. A lot of questions about letters. It's nice though that people. I went so early, and people still remember me. They still love me. It's very flattering.
Oh yeah, no, you're great. Like everybody loves. Like seriously, watching.
Not everybody.
Again, no, well, okay, fine, not everybody, but not everybody's gonna love you anyway. I mean, people who won this game and who are super popular, even they have their haters. So,
no,
you're phenomenal. But again, I love you so much. I get accused of loving my guests too much because I only bring people onto the show that I really, really like. So, sorry for those fans for annoying you, but Ika, I'm just speaking the truth. I just love Ika to death.
Oh, I love him.
But to answer your question, or to answer the question that Super Factor asked, Ika, who's first? I guess I can probably guess at this point, but who's the first one? So you're probably shredding whose letter first, Shelly or is it Clay?
I'm gonna shred Clay's letter first.
Clay first, and last is Jason.
Him.
Jason last.
Jason last, and I'm gonna walk around, hold it, and cry before I shred his letter.
And then you're gonna look up at the memory wall, and you're gonna go up to Clay, and you'd be like, "F you, Clay! Yeah. I hate you!" And all that stuff, and you're gonna kick over stuff. That was great. That was great. Oh man, that was awesome. Okay. Pierce Brooks, hey, my friend Pierce Brooks asks, Ika, how much would you love if you got asked to be the takeover? Yeah, Ika, let's go. Hypothetically, Alison Grodner is a big fan of Miss Ika Wong, and she wants to have you do a takeover this week. What is your takeover going to be? What would you do if you were taking over the BB17 house?
Oh, wow. I never thought of that's a great question. Wow, look at you guys getting all snazzy with the questions. I don't know. You know what it is? I think because people know me for shredding things and for shredding letters, I think people would want to see me do something along those lines for the house guests. They want to see me, shred the letters in front of them, or, shred their food, shred something.
Oh, so good. I when you go back on Big Brother Canada All Stars, for me, please, you don't need to shred letters, but if you could do something like, destroy all the food or something like that. Once you know that, once you're in a tight spot and you need to switch things up, please do that for me and all the of us fans, because that would just be awesome, and I think that would be that would be great. That would be great.
It's a big if, by the way. I was out fourth. Remember, it's a very big if. But if I am on All Stars, I will turn it up for you.
Thank you. If
you're not there with me, turning it up as well.
Trust me, Ika. I will not be there, but I will be watching you on the live feeds closely, and it's going to be very fun. I'm excited for when that day comes. Mary Duda444 asks, Ika, do you see similarities between the Girls Alliance want Heather gone when she's a girl, and the Sixth Sense Alliance wanting Austin gone? Okay, so do you see a similarities between Austin's current situation and Heather from your season, or no? Are those two completely different things?
I think it's completely different. I feel like with Heather, Sabrina, she went around to a lot of people, and she did, tell people that Heather was trying to ruin your game and all this stuff. And my reasoning for targeting Heather, it really wasn't because I was being really catty. It was because I knew the house did not like Heather, and I felt like as she had left, they wouldn't have cared, and I wouldn't have had any blood, on my hands. And Paul would have stayed and went after people for me. Why should I do it, And I feel like with Austin, he actually really is a target, whereas Heather, she really wasn't a target. That was my bad. My bad, Heather lovers. My bad.
I love Heather too. She's great. But I'm with you. I think that is the way for future Big Brother players out there. That's what you want to do when you're head of household. You want to go after somebody in which nobody's going to be upset with you after they go home for the week, and especially somebody like a Heather, who you're in a situation where you didn't really know where Heather's head was at. She was always in and out. She was creeping up in your guys' conversations and stuff like that, and you didn't know what she was doing, so you wanted to get rid of her because she was an easy person to go after. Now, that didn't really work out for you because Paul went home instead, but had that have worked, that would have been great because, yeah, like you said, you would have had Paul running the house, calling people racist and homophobic, and fighting with Andrew, and you would have been fine. So that would have been.
Can I just tell you that when Paul called Andrew a racist, it was the happiest day of my life in that house because I knew for a fact that. And I told Andrew that Paul called me a racist. And I don't care if Andrew's a racist. I do not care. But I knew for a fact that had I told Andrew that Paul thinks he's a racist, there is no way he's putting 2 black people on that block, okay? And I have to secure myself for that one.
Oh my gosh, Ika, that's awesome. That's so funny. But no, like, why not, right? I think that if that can help your game. And also, too, I remember you said right away, you said, look, I mean, yeah, Andrew said some stuff, but that doesn't mean he's racist, Paul.
Yeah.
Like, you called him out right away. And Paul's like, no, dude, he's racist. Oh, so great, so great.
Paul was such good TV, though. Oh, Paul.
And Ika, that is why your season is so good because, again, we have all of these good TV characters. We have you, we have Sabrina, we have Paul, we have Andrew, all of these people just going at it. My goodness, amazing. And I don't know if we will ever see something quite like that. That is not an all-star season ever again. Scott Wrigley says, Ika girl, love the ombre hair.
Ooh, thank you.
Who's bigger wildebeest, Kenny or Austin?
Okay, you know what? For sure, Austin is definitely the bigger wildebeest.
Oh my gosh. So Austin, we're gonna go with Austin, not Kenny?
Yeah, Austin for sure is the big. I mean, if Austin was in my, yeah, for sure, he takes the wildebeest cake for sure. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Okay, Mary Duda 444 again. Ika, she says, Ika, can't wait for All Stars. Is Sabrina going home first, or is there a chance Ika and Sabrina will be working together? This is a great question. Ika, hypotheticals. Sabrina is on Big Brother Canada All Stars. Would you work with her?
I don't know. Hell no. No. That girl is crazy, okay? Like, no, I would not work with her. But I'm not quite sure if it will be smart to get rid of her week 1 if she is there. But would Ika Wong, work with Sabrina? No. Never, okay? Never.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still I still need therapy from Sabrina. Are you kidding me?
I would pay $1 million, the sum of $1 million, to participate in a season in which you're there and Sabrina's there, and we just, no twists or anything, just go in a house and a bunch of people from Big Brother Canada too, and you guys just fight again. That would be so good. I'm with you though. I think if Sabrina were to go back for a season, and who knows what the deal is with Sabrina, she's kind of distanced herself from the show, and I believe lives in Mexico now. I think that it would be smart to ask her to come back if I was the producers, because she's incredibly great television. However, if for you guys, if whoever's going in the house, it's going to be tough to deal with her. But you keep Sabrina in the house. She's annoying, but she's a bigger target that you can send home at any point, really. And if she's gone first, then I don't really know who you send home. I mean, you can look at it both ways, but I am excited if that ever does happen, Ika. But you sure you don't want to do a first two alliance with Sabrina, the super fan?
Goodbye. Boy, bye. You know what it is? I'll say this. I do, people do give Sabrina, they do, rag on her a little bit, but, and I'm a little bit petty. The game is a game, and you should let things go. Jordan has let things go, and he's doing well. I'm not that kind of a person. I hold on to things for a very long time. But Sabrina being on season 2, I don't care what anybody says. That girl made that show, and she was good TV, and she deserves just as much props as anybody else. So I'll be the first person to say that. Yes, I don't like that she got me out, 10 years ago. But that girl was good TV. She was a good cast, and she helped to make season 2. So I will be the first person to say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you mentioned that earlier, Ika. You said that you did not like to live with Sabrina, but if you were a fan watching the show, it would have been great because she was great television. And I'm with you 100%. Sabrina, if there is no Sabrina Abate, Big Brother Canada 2 is not the same beast of a season that it has become. And she was really the main reason for all of that, all of the drama surrounded around Sabrina. And yeah, I hope we get to see her again someday. She is something else. Ella Casanova asks, who would you align with if you were in BB17, Ika? Now, I know you said you like Jason, you like Johnny Mac, but would you align with those people, Ika? And do you think it's a good idea to align with people that you're friends with, or do you think it's a good idea to align with people that you don't really like that much?
I think honestly, I feel like it goes hand in hand. Like, you do align with people who you are friends with. It would be smart to say, listen, we're nothing alike. I don't really mess with you, and you don't really mess with me. Let's just work. But it won't work because you need that emotional connection with that person to be loyal to that person. And if you don't have that emotional connection with that person, at least even a little bit, you won't trust that person. You won't want to make moves for that person, and that is why that wouldn't work. So I think the friend and liking and alliance, they kind of go hand in hand, a little bit, I think. And if I were in the house, I'm not quite sure if I would want to work with someone like Johnny Mac, because I feel like he isn't somebody that would. I like watching him. I'm a fan of Johnny's, but if I was in the house, being in alliance with him would not be beneficial for me, because he's not going to go home, and he's not really, he doesn't really have to make any big moves right now, and I would need somebody to make some big moves for me, and he wouldn't do that for me, so I wouldn't want to work with him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think that for somebody like you, Ika, who was a big target on your season for whatever reason, it probably would be better for you to align with somebody that is more of a physical threat in some sense. If you're aligned with a Jason or a Johnny Mac, people are probably going to be like, well, Jason, Johnny Mac, I'll get rid of them later. We don't need to worry about them. Whereas if you're aligned with somebody like a Clay, and people think, oh, wow, we got to get rid of, or an Austin, we got to get rid of Austin and Ika, they're going to go after Austin every single time before they go after you, right? Okay, next question. Kelly Edge asks, do you think that the have-not strategy of separating Liz and Austin is going to work? Shelly and Vanessa want to keep them apart. Okay, so I actually don't really... So I guess this is referring to the nominations this week and not putting them up together, per se. Do you think that it's a good idea to not just throw all your eggs into that one basket, Ika, in terms of just putting both of them up, or do you think that what they did, do you like what they did in terms of just splitting them up and making sure Austin stays off the block, that way they can backdoor him later, or if for whatever reason he wins the veto, Liz can just go home instead?
If he won the veto, do you think he would use it on Liz?
Oh, that's actually a thing too. He probably would use it on Liz.
Yeah.
So that's the risk you do run, is that he uses it on Liz, then you probably have to go for a Steve or someone like that instead. So Yeah, what do you think about that then? Do you think that because that there is definitely some risk in that if they keep Austin off the block, they keep Liz on the block, Austin gets drawn for veto, wins veto, saves Liz, and then we are in a situation in which Jackie is looking and twiddling her thumbs and thinking, okay, now what? What do I do?
Exactly. I feel like separating them, so having Liz on the block and having Austin not as a backdoor, method for Austin. I feel like in that situation, because there's so many people in the house, they're just hoping for the luck of a draw, hoping that he doesn't get picked, hoping that he doesn't win the veto. I don't really. I think putting them up on the block, it really I think putting Austin on the block with Liz, it's a strong team to compete, and they could win that BOB and potentially get off the block, which is why they probably wouldn't do that. So I think leaving him off is the safe bet, and he'll still be a target the next week if he does stay.
Yeah, what do you think about instead, Ika, if Jackie would have not nominated Liz, nominates Steve and James instead, gets James to throw it, and then if Austin does end up winning it, then convincing Austin to, although, never mind, because I know Austin wants to go after Steve, so that wouldn't really work, but maybe a different pawn, convincing Austin, if he does win the veto, to use it, and then you could put up a Liz or something like that instead. Would that make more sense, keeping both of them off the block? That way you have the option of putting either one up?
That makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Last question here before we wrap things up. Mary Duda 444 says, if the takeover comes back in the next few weeks, what twist do you think BB should use, and what twist do you think would work? Now, we've already seen the twin twist come back this season. Ika, what twist from Big Brother's past would you like to see if there is a Big Brother takeover coming back? And let's assume, I think it probably will come back. It just, for whatever reason, they decided to take a week off.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you remember that? Okay, is Pandora's box? Is that a real twist?
Well, Pandora's box, yeah, that's a twist for sure. It wasn't a twist that was the theme of a season, but it was a twist that we've seen multiple times. We saw it on Big Brother 12, Big Brother 13, and Big Brother 14, and we haven't really seen it in a couple years. So that's one you'd like to see again?
I love Pandora's box. I hope BB can. I wish they had it. I love Pandora's box.
Yeah, right? I was waiting for that to come, and Big Brother Canada, for whatever reason, just hasn't decided to use it yet. But yeah, I don't get why Pandora's box hasn't happened yet. And something that I thought about before I went in the house, if there potentially was a Pandora's box, was to frame someone for taking a Pandora's box, going in the storage room, just throwing out all the food and like getting rid of it, making it all go away, and saying, "Oh, the HOH took a Pandora's box, they got a prize, and now we don't have any food. We got to get rid of that person." That's something that no one has ever really tried, and I think that that's something that somebody, if you are listening to this, feel free to use that, because I'm probably never going to play Big Brother again. I think that would be a good thing to use. Ika, you too. I think that would be awesome if you used that. But and then you'd have an excuse to destroy all the food. That would be awesome. It would be so good. Okay. Oh, hold on. You know what? One more question. Screw it. We'll take one more. Okay. Pierce Brooks says, Ika, do you think it is time for a girl to win because one hasn't won since season 13? And if so, who do you think has the best shot? Yeah, Ika, if the girl's going to win this season, who's got the best chance of pulling this thing out?
You know what? I feel like I'm not that kind of person that's like, oh my gosh, a girl needs to win, or a guy needs to win, or a girl needs to win. I feel like the best player should win, you know? I'm like that. But if a girl should win this season, I could honestly see even Shelly. I feel like when production shows people early on in the game, they tend to leave. And I feel like players like Jackie and Becky, they could emerge as winners in the very end because they're laying very low, and they're big, and Shelly's a bigger threat than they are, and she might go before they do. So I could see Shelly winning it if she gets far enough because she's a lot of friends. But if not, I could even see a Jackie or Becky taking it because they're laying so low. very, very low. Low to the point where we don't even want to on the show anymore. That low. They're just laying very low.
Well, fun fact, Becky has not had a DR in, I believe, 7 episodes, which I think is a Big Brother record. So, yes, she, as you mentioned, she is laying very, very, very low, which, hey, not the worst for her game, because we know she's going to be around for a while. If she's not getting any airtime, nobody's even thinking about going after Becky at this point. So, you never know. Not the worst strategy in the world.
It's true, and Jordan, isn't it hard to not be thought about when you're in the when you're in the house with all your house guests? I'm thinking about every last one of them. It's a good strategy. It's very hard to have people to be in a house and to have people not think about you. That is so hard. I give her props.
Yeah, it's super tough, absolutely, and it's something that only the best of Big Brother players have been able to pull off, or you're just somebody who is really a non-factor like a Becky, but that's fine if you're a non-factor, because guess what? You're not going to win Big Brother in the first month of the game. You're going to win it at the end of the game. That's when you got to turn it on. It's an endurance competition. It's something in which you're approaching it as if you're running a marathon, not a sprint, and seems like Becky's sort of doing that. So although she hasn't really shown much prowess for the game thus far, you never know. She could pull it out. Who knows? And not the worst strategy in the world, doing nothing, because she's not going to go home. She's not going home. And what's the object of the game? To not go home. So you never know. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Big Brother Happy Hour. Really appreciate it. If you want to support this show, you can subscribe on iTunes by going to robhasawebsite.com/RHAPpy. That's happy hour with an R at the front. You can also subscribe to the Reality TV RHAP-ups page on iTunes as well, where we have all of the friends of Rob Has a Podcast, in which we talk about all different things. This week, coming up, we've got the Bachelorette finale podcast coming up, in which Amy and Haley are going to be talking about who Caitlyn chooses in the final 2 of the Bachelorette. Ika, have you been watching the Bachelorette this season?
I've been watching.
So are you Team Nick or are you Team Sean?
You know what? Honest, I'm not. Hey, don't kill me, Bachelorette people. Don't send me hate to my Twitter, to my life, to my inbox. I'm not a big Caitlyn fan, and I feel like any guy that doesn't end up with her is lucky. I'm just not. I'm sorry.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we Ika is just team not Caitlyn. So
yeah.
if you want to check out what Amy and Haley have to say, definitely check out that podcast. It's going to be really good. Again, Ika, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure having you on. It's surreal having the opportunity just to chat with you. It's great. You're so funny and awesome, and I would love to do this again sometime. Thank you very much. We need a hashtag for this episode so that people can tweet us at the end of the show. I've had a few. Did you have anything you want to use, Ika? I had a few I was thinking of maybe.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking maybe hashtag Ika's twin, or we could do hashtag. We could just do hashtag Sabrina. That's just because we talked about Sabrina so much.
No, on my podcast you won't hashtag her.
Okay. So we want to go hashtag Ika's twin.
Well, sure. We could do. You know what? We could even we could do Sabrina. We did talk about Sabrina a lot, but not. Oh my god. But yeah, I think Ika's twin is fine, or even hashtag Team Too Much, because we were talking about Austin doing too much. Clay doing
okay,
too
yeah,
much.
yeah. Why don't we do that? We'll do hashtag Team Too Much. So if you want to let Ika or I know what you thought about this podcast, what you thought about our take on Big Brother 17 so far, feel free to tweet us. You can tweet Ika Wong. She is at the Ika Wong. You can tweet myself. I am at Jordan Parhar. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Much appreciated. For Ika Wong, I am Jordan Parhar. Hashtag Team Too Much. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
Bye.